7 phrases that reveal someone is testing your boundaries. Most people think boundary violations happen all at once. The most effective manipulators don't break your boundaries. They slowly train you to lower them. One small compromise at a time. One uncomfortable yes after another. And it often starts with phrases that seem harmless on the surface. 1. Just this once. This phrase sounds reasonable. After all, what's the harm in one exception? Today's exception becomes tomorrow's expectation. Once you've crossed your own boundary once, it becomes easier to cross it again and again. What was once uncomfortable slowly becomes normal. 2. Don't be difficult. Notice what happens here. The focus shifts away from the request itself. Instead, the focus becomes your reaction. Now, you're not discussing whether the request is fair. You're defending yourself against being labeled difficult. It's a subtle form of pressure, because most people would rather sacrifice a boundary than risk appearing unreasonable. 3. Come on. It's not a big deal. This phrase minimizes your discomfort. It suggests that your concern is the problem, not the behavior. But if something matters to you, it matters. A boundary doesn't need universal approval to be valid. People who respect your limits don't need to convince you that your limits are insignificant. 4. You're really saying no. Pay attention to the emotional weight hidden inside this question. It's not seeking information. They already heard your answer. It's expressing disbelief. The goal is to make you reconsider, to make your no feel shocking, selfish, or unexpected. Healthy people accept boundaries. Manipulative people challenge them. 5. I thought we were friends. This one weaponizes the relationship itself. It's about proving your loyalty, your friendship, your commitment. The hidden message is clear. If you cared about me, you'd do this. But genuine friendship respects boundaries. It doesn't use them as evidence in a loyalty test. 6. Everybody else is okay with it. Humans naturally fear social exclusion. Manipulators know this. That's why they invoke the crowd. The goal is to make you feel isolated, different, difficult, as if your boundary is abnormal simply because others supposedly don't share it. But a boundary doesn't become invalid because other people choose differently. 7. Why are you making this a problem? This is one of the most revealing phrases of all, because it reframes the situation entirely. Instead of discussing the issue, it positions you as the issue. The request disappears, the pressure disappears. And now the spotlight falls on your reaction. You're not defending your boundary anymore. You're defending your character. And that's exactly where many people give in. Because they become more concerned with appearing agreeable than protecting themselves. Here's what makes boundary testing so dangerous. Each individual request seems small. Each phrase sounds harmless. Each compromise feels insignificant. But manipulation rarely succeeds through one massive violation. It succeeds through accumulation. A little guilt, a little pressure, a little self-doubt, repeated over time. Until the person no longer needs to push your boundaries. Because you've learned to move them yourself. 7 phrases that reveal someone is testing your boundaries. The healthiest people understand something many never learn. A boundary is not a negotiation. It is information. It tells others where your limits are. And the right people may not always like those limits, but they will respect them. So the next time someone responds poorly to your no, don't just listen to what they're asking. Listen to how they're asking, because people who respect boundaries may feel disappointed. But people who want control often reveal themselves the moment a boundary appears. And sometimes the most important thing a person can say is one simple word: no.